Find a place to lie still and let the planet's slow heartbeat take the lead. Feel the weight of your body meet the surface beneath you, steady and true, as if you are a quiet pebble settling into warm sand. Breathe once simply to check in, not to fix anything, only to notice. Let the shoulders soften as if they know of a gentle tide and are moving with it. Let the jaw unclench as though someone has untied a knot you did not even know you were holding. Imagine for a moment that you are on a sheltered cove, a small reef protected from the wider sea. The water here is kind. It holds and cradles. Above you the sky keeps its slow, indifferent span, and below you the seabed waits, patient. You are not required to perform. Your task is only to be present, to allow yourself the small permission of stillness. If your mind has something it wants to say, a list, a worry, an intention, simply notice it as if you had seen a small shell roll along the sand. You might look at it, you might pick it up later, or you might leave it where it rests. For now, settle. If you'd like more deep sleep meditations like this, there's a playlist linked in the description. Feel free to use it whenever you want to lengthen this stillness. For now, keep your attention here, soft and curious. Turn your attention to breath. There's no need to change it dramatically. Notice the quality of the inhale as a gentle arrival, the exhale as a calm release. If it helps you to follow a rhythm, breathe in for a slow count of 4, hold softly for a count of 1, and let the exhale extend to 6. Or simply allow the inhale to be small and the exhale to be longer, as if the air has a little more time to leave your body than it does to enter. Try whichever feels easier. The precise numbers are only an aid, not a rule. As you breathe, imagine the surface of the water above you, a wide, shimmering plain. And picture the cove's rim, where kelp and small rocks mark the boundary between open sea and the sheltered place you inhabit. The surface shivers gently with the passing of the breeze, and each breath is a slight ripple that travels down through the water to reach you. With each exhale, let yourself sink a fraction more into your support, noticing how your limbs grow heavier in that safe resistance. Bring your attention now to your feet. Feel them as if they are small, warm stones nestled into soft sand. The toes are relaxed, not held. Each toe loosens like a tiny creature stretching in the morning warmth. Sense the soles, the ankles, the heels. If there is any tension around the ankles, allow the breath to flow there like a steady tide, slowly easing the muscles' hold. Imagine an apprentice at the reef, a young hand threading thin strands of kelp through a broken seam of coral. Their fingers move with unhurried care, attending to one small stitch at a time. You are like that reef. Small, patient mending is happening beneath the surface. Breathe with that rhythm. Notice how the weight of the legs settles into the support below, how gravity is a friend that keeps you safe. Move your awareness up through the calves. As you travel, sense the skin warming, as if the shallow current around your legs is gentle and kind. Picture a gardener crab scuttling along, nudging away a pebble, smoothing the sand in a slow, deliberate patch. Each nudge is small. It does not hurry, and yet over time it shapes the space. Let your breath be the steady motion that accompanies the crab's work. Inhale, small. Exhale, longer. And with each out-breath, imagine the calves releasing more fully into surrender. Now let your attention arrive at your knees and the soft space behind them. Think of them as hinges worn smooth by long, careful use. There is no stiffness you must fix right now, only a sense of ease that can be invited. The apprentices at the reef gather small shell slats, passing them along in a quiet chain, each person offering a little support so that the next can reach further. You are part of such a chain in this moment, not by labor, but by receiving the gentle attention of being held. Allow the knees to soften into that support. Float your attention to your thighs. Feel the weight of them as a broad, steady presence. Imagine a carpenter nearby, smoothing a piece of coral into a curve that will cradle a tiny creature's home. Their tool is plain, their motion practiced. Short strokes that remove roughness until the surface is gentle to the touch. Let the breath mirror that motion. With each inhale, there is a subtle rise. With each exhale, a lengthening release. The thighs become heavier, more spacious, as though cushioned by compacted sand. Notice any place where you tend to hold work or worry. Allow it to be softened by the simple rhythm of breathing and the imagined hands that take time to mend. As your awareness travels, picture the cove's shallow seam where the reef meets a pocket of warmer water. Small fish slide through the kelp, bright flashes of color that do not startle you. They are companions, not causes for alert. Let their tranquilly remind you that movement can be gentle and that life continues in small, caring increments. Allow your body to accept support from beneath, like a reef bed that gives way enough to hold you but not so much that you sink without lift. Shift now to the pelvis and hips, the broad center that holds the weight of your torso. This area often remembers our days most readily, the way we stand, sit, and carry ourselves. Sense it as a basin, warm and steady, cushioned by deep, slow currents. Picture a shell slat placed beneath the spine, a careful scaffold arranged by the keeper, a small, patient support that follows the contours of your back. Imagine the keeper lowering it into place with a practiced tenderness, checking its fit before stepping back. You do not need to tailor this moment precisely. Its purpose is simply to offer steadiness. With the inhale, imagine a soft lift through the pelvis. With the exhale, a willing release into the shell's caring shape. There may be places here that feel tight or private. That is all right. Invite your breath to flow into those pockets as if the air were a warm, slow current circulating through the cove, easing sand away from stubborn pebbles. The apprentices attend nearby, weaving kelp with patient fingers, their motions small and repetitive, a braid here, a tuck there, until what was jagged feels smoothed and wrapped. You can let their quiet work be a metaphor for whatever needs tiny, reliable attention in you. Nothing dramatic is required. Repair is often a succession of careful, unflashy acts. Allow your spine to become a coastline, a series of small bays with gentle inclines, rather than a rigid column. Starting at the lower back, notice how each vertebra rests one upon another like a stack of smooth stones. Picture an elder caretaker, hands warmed by seawater, rolling a damp sponge over each stone to polish and calm it. The sponge collects fine grains, leaving the surface tender. With each out-breath, imagine a soft unwinding along the spine. Let the breath be the sponge, arriving, collecting, releasing. If your attention drifts, simply bring it back to the sensation of each stone supported by the one beneath it. As awareness travels upward to the ribs and chest, notice how the breath makes a little room there. The chest bone does not have to force openness. It simply accommodates air, like a sheltered grotto that accepts the tide. You might picture a lamp placed on a ledge in the cove, its gentle glow touching the shells and pointing out little patches of color. The light is not bright. It is enough to reveal texture without startling. Let the lamp's warm presence be the feeling of calm in your chest. A small, consistent warmth that expands a little with each inhale and settles with each exhale. If there is any noise of worry in your mind, a thought that returns like a pebble skittering in the shallows, imagine a small shelf set into the reef wall within your cove. It is low, easy to reach, finished smooth by the sea. On this shelf you may place that pebble if you wish. There is no hurry to decide. Simply set it there. Perhaps cover it with a leaf of kelp so it is not asking for attention. The keeper notices, nods, and continues tending. These thoughts do not need to be solved now. In this place they can be kept safe and small. Move your attention now into the shoulders and neck. These places often collect messages we do not intend to carry. Obligations, hurriedness, the posture of someone holding a day together. Picture the shoulders as soft dunes at the edge of the cove, sloping gently towards the water. With each exhale, they slope a fraction more. With each inhale, they rest atop the sand and do not have to lift. The apprentices pass along a thin rope of kelp, laying it across the shoulders like a light shawl, its coolness a reminder that you are covered but not burdened. If a habit of tensing returns, imagine loosening a knot in that kelp, letting a length fall away into the water. Soften your jaw. Let your tongue rest heavy and low in the mouth. Imagine the face as a small shell that is being rinsed by a feather of current, clearing away sharp edges until the expression is quiet. The eyes may be closed. If they are not, allow them to close now, or to half close and rest on a folded thought. The breath continues, steady and unhurried. If counting helps you settle into this rhythm, return now to that gentle pattern. Inhale for 4, hold for 1, exhale for 6, or simply let the breath find its own pace, trusting the body's intelligence to arrive where it needs to be. As you continue, bring the notion of smallness and repetition into focus. The keeper and their apprentices have been at this reef for years. Their work is not dramatic, but it compounds. A single knot undone, a single sliver of broken coral smoothed, a pebble repositioned. Each act makes the reef more habitable. Let that slow accumulation of care be a metaphor for what rest can do. A little repair, a little settling, again and again. You are permitted to be part of that quiet labor by allowing your body the grace of rest itself. There is a sound now, faint and deep, like a distant tide rolling over a wide, gentle shoal. Notice it without needing to name it precisely. It may be felt more than heard, a soft vibration under the ribs or deep in the bones. Think of it as the planet's slow cadence, an enormous, patient pulse that predates thought and will continue whether you attend or not. You might place your hands, if that is comfortable, over the lower ribs and feel the subtle movement there with your breath. The rhythm is broad and unhurried. It invites you to lengthen the out-breath so that it resonates with the swell. Allow the idea of a heartbeat that belongs to the earth to settle in as an image, not loud, but profoundly steady. It is like the hum of distant surf, a deep frequency that seems to cradle from below. This hum is impartial and constant. It is not asking anything of you. You may choose to breathe with it. Inhale soft, exhale long, letting each out-breath be the place where tension yields. Or you may choose simply to rest and let the hum pass through you, a comfortable presence beneath the unfolding quiet. Both choices are welcome. Both are restful. Imagine now that the keeper draws near, their hands carrying a small basin of warm water and smoothed pebbles. They sit at the edge of the cove, observing with a steady eye that knows when to act and when to let the reef keep its own counsel. The apprentices pause in their weaving to pass along a pebble shaped just so, placing it into the basin. Each pebble is handled with respect. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is hurried. There is a quality of attention here that feels like a soft, constant kindness. Let that attentiveness wash over you. You do not need to be productive in order to deserve such care. If a worry taps at the door of your mind again, picture the shelf in the reef and the leaf of kelp that covers the pebble. You might not solve the worry in this instant, but you can acknowledge it and choose to lay it aside for the moment, trusting the keeper's steady hands to keep watch. You may even imagine yourself handing the pebble up to an apprentice, who places it delicately on the shelf. Notice the relief of having simply moved it. You are not discarding responsibility, merely giving yourself reprieve. As the breath moves, notice the torso filling and emptying with a measured grace. The lungs are like shallow hollows in the reef where fish might rest. They have room enough to expand and contract without drama. Let the exhale be an offering, a gentle return to the water, a folding in. Each out-breath carries away a little of the day's accumulated tightness. Each inhale invites a soft replenishment, like light filtering down through clear water to the cove floor. There is an uncomplicated trust here. The reef will be tended, the keeper will return to their tasks, the apprentices will continue their slow mending. Your participation in that care is to rest. You may find that thoughts arrive in patterns. Perhaps you notice the same few concerns tending to repeat. It is normal. The shelf in the cove holds multiple pebbles. There is room for them. You do not have to carry them all at once. Allow a growing sense of being supported to rise within you. Feel the surface beneath your back and hips as if it is a composite of sand, pebbles, and carefully positioned shell slats, each element chosen to offer the right kind of give. Imagine the shell slat beneath your spine as warm and conforming, its shape creating a gentle cradle. The keeper taps it into place, testing that it offers both lift and softness. You can imagine it there now, meeting the contours of your body, taking part of the work of holding you so that your muscles may unclench. As the spine rests into that support, notice the way the breath travels more smoothly up through the chest and down again, a tide that passes without interruption. This motion is slow and gracious, like the sweep of shallow water over a sandbar. Let the rhythm of your breathing lengthen naturally. There is no need to force it. If you prefer a count to hold on to, return to the gentle pattern of 4, 1, 6, or simply note the pause between inhale and exhale and let that space be comfortable. A small glint fish darts near the lamp, scattering a shimmer of pale light across the kelp. The apprentices laugh softly, a sound like shells sliding against one another, and the keeper smiles without haste. That small glint is like a sudden pleasant thought, a memory of warmth or a tiny kindness that you can let pass without gripping. Notice it, receive the pleasantness, and let it slide back into the current. As you continue to rest, you may feel a subtle change beneath the bones, a softer, lower vibration that seems to match the cadence of something bigger than yourself. It is not intrusive. It simply exists, like a large animal breathing somewhere deeper in the ocean. If you choose to explore it, place attention at the center of your chest and the base of your spine, and sense the quiet connection between these points. There is a thread of calm there, a slow tether to a steadier rhythm. Allow yourself to arrive here fully, supported by the cove, attended by patient hands, and accompanied by the deep, slow mood of the sea that we are calling the Earth's heartbeat. Breathe with it if that feels natural. Small inhale, lengthened exhale, or allow the breath to continue in its uncounted, unforced way. Either choice is a form of trust. You are not required to solve anything. You are not required to stay awake. You are permitted to relax into the ongoing, quiet care of this place. The keeper and apprentices will keep tending the reef. Their attention is a background presence, so you can let your own attention soften. Notice how the breath makes your body heavier where you choose to surrender, and lighter where it allows movement without strain. There is a balance here between weight and buoyancy, like a tide that both holds and allows passage. If you feel called to adjust your position slightly, to turn a hand so it rests more comfortably, or to draw a knee towards you for a moment of support, do so with gentleness. Small changes are part of rest. They are not interruptions. The soft hum that began earlier is still present. A broad, low cadence that you might sense in the ribs, the pelvis, the long bones of the arms and legs. It is a subtle vibration, like a distant drum that keeps a time for the reef. You may notice that when you lengthen the exhale, the hum seems to synchronize, and the body responds by loosening. There is a quality of being held in time rather than being hurried through it. Imagine an apprentice pausing to check a seam in the kelp weft, drawing a slow breath and then making a precise tuck. Their every action is deliberate and calm. In this same deliberateness, you may choose to bring a single concern to the small shelf, tuck it under the kelp leaf, and leave it there for now. Or, if nothing particular needs to be shelved, allow that shelf to remain simply a symbol of your capacity to let go. There is a depth to this place that invites you further inward. The keeper's presence is steady but unobtrusive. Their hands are skilled, their pace slow. The apprentices continue their small repairs. The lamp blinks softly now and again, and the glint fish moves like a thought you can watch without catching. You are invited to follow the slow cadence of the water, to match your breath to a wider rhythm, and to notice how that rhythm is reflected in the body's natural motion. If you are comfortable, allow your awareness to settle at the center of the chest and feel the steady rise and fall that accompanies each breath. Place a hand there if you wish and feel the subtle swell. Beneath that swell, somewhere lower, there is the promise of a very slow, even hum, an inner cadence that belongs to the earth and to the sea. It is patient. It does not demand. You may begin to sense its edges, the way it colors the quiet with a large, embracing steadiness. Let that sensation sink in. Let the body be guided by what feels supportive and restful. There is care here, small and cumulative, and you are invited to receive it. The reef continues its slow work of repair, and you are permitted to rest while the tide and the keepers tend the small things. The sound of the cove, the soft lap of water, the faint rustle of kelp, the low hum beneath, becomes a companion as you move deeper into calm. The sound becomes a companion as you move deeper into calm. A steady, low cadence that seems to exist beyond the shape of words. Let it cradle you rather than fill you. Let it be like the ground beneath the cove, present and patient. As you rest there, imagine the keeper standing a little way off, palms cupped around a rounded stone warmed by the sun, turning it slowly in their hands. They listen as it turns, as if learning something from the way the stone fits into their palm. The apprentices watch and learn, not by hurry but by being patient witnesses to practice over time. Notice how the hum reaches into unexpected places. The broad flat of your pelvis, the long bones of your legs, the ribs that hold the breath's small tide. You might feel it as a gentle vibration under the sternum, or as a quiet warmth that gathers beneath the back of the skull and behind the eyes. It does not demand your attention. It simply keeps time. If your attention comes and goes, greet it kindly and return to the sensation of the breath and the quiet beat beneath you. Breathe with it if that feels right. Small in, long out, and let each exhale widen the space inside you by just a little. There is a ritual here that the keeper teaches the apprentices, a slow passing of small things from hand to hand, each one handled with care until it is ready to rest. Picture, for a moment, a tiny shell with a hairline crack. An apprentice holds it up to the light, then brings a sliver of kelp, folds it precisely, places it inside the crack like a small seam. They press gently as though sewing with water, and the shell seems less sharp at the edges. The keeper nods, pleased, and tucks the repaired shell into a shallow bowl. Each mending is humble, almost invisible, yet in its gentleness there is restoration. Let this be an image for anything that feels cracked in you. Not dramatic repair, but a patient tending, an allowance for time and for small hands. As you breathe, imagine the wider ground beneath the cove. The earth's heartbeat is slow and broad. It is not a quick drum, but a languid, sure swell, like a tide that has remembered the coastline for a very long time. Visualize that rhythm as a wide curve, rising and falling with the same ease your breath finds when you do not force it. There is a match here, the body's natural cadence and the planet's larger motion. And when they align, a sense of being held emerges that is simple and plain. If thoughts come, plans, lists, a nameless worry, picture them arriving like little stones at the water's edge. You are permitted to handle them however you choose. Perhaps you pick one up, feel its texture, and then place it on the small shelf in the reef wall. The shelf is smooth, familiar, the right size for what you bring. You might cover the stone with a flat leaf of kelp, tuck the edge beneath, and go back to watching the slow swell of the water. The keeper sees you do this and carries on with their work, because tending the reef is an act of trust. Things will be tended in time, and right now your task is simply to rest. There is a subtle choreography among the keepers and apprentices that mirrors the breath itself. One apprentice pauses to braid a length of kelp, their fingers moving in a steady rhythm. Another places a rounded pebble into a bowl to balance the weight of a lamp. The keeper steps in and smooths the lamplight so that it is warm but not bright. Each action is deliberate and unhurried, demonstrating that care need not be loud to be transformative. Allow their steady attention to be a model for your own. Small, repeated acts, or the act of permitting rest, are powerful in their cumulative effect. Bring your awareness to the sensation of being supported from below. Feel the surface beneath your back and the way it gives just enough so that you are not rigid and not sinking either. The shell slats beneath your spine are placed with thought. They follow the curve of your vertebrae, creating a cradle that both lifts and softens. Imagine the keeper sliding their hand along the length of the slat to check its fit, their touch practiced and respectful. You do not need to lift or hold anything now. Let gravity be your ally. With each exhale, imagine the pelvis settling its weight more fully into the support. As the body relaxes into that support, you may notice a gentle widening through the ribs and chest, as if space has been carved out for breath to move more freely. The chest is a sheltered grotto, and your lungs are small hollows where currents move in and out. With each out-breath, let go of another small tension. The tightness behind the sternum, the stiffness in the shoulders, the clench of the jaw. Let go by degrees. Breath after breath, a seam unravels just enough to allow comfort to shift. There is a tiny, repeated sound in this cove. A light rasp, like sand being smoothed, the whisper of a pebble nudged into position. When you notice it, do not reach for explanation. Simply lean into the sensory detail. Perhaps an apprentice has taken a thin slat and is scraping it along a rough edge to make it bearable for a little crab to climb. In the same way, your body is being made ready to rest, not by force, but by gentle, consistent attention. The deep hum you've been aware of will often feel stronger when you allow longer exhales. If you would like guidance for a final breathing pattern, you may choose to try this simple, slow cycle. Breathe in for 4 counts, hold softly for 1, and exhale for 6. Let the numbers be a loose frame rather than a strict rule. If another rhythm suits you better, follow that. Alternatively, if counting feels like a shape to fill, set the numbers aside and simply follow a breath that arrives small and leaves longer, trusting the body to find its own pace. As your breathing aligns with the hum, notice how it seems to anchor in the deeper parts of your body. The pelvis, the sacrum, the long bones. The hum is felt more than heard. It resonates in the marrow, a place that remembers slow things. Imagine the keeper placing a hand against your lower back, feeling that steadiness and nodding in quiet affirmation. There is no rush to move. There is only a steadying presence that matches your own capacity for rest. If worries ripple through you like small fish darting near the lamp, you may use the shelf again. Picture yourself picking up a thought. Perhaps it has weight, perhaps it is light, and placing it gently upon the reef shelf. If it seems right, lay a kelp leaf across it so that it is covered and still. The keeper watches as apprentices pass by, each taking a moment to glance at what you have placed there, acknowledging without judgment. The reef will not forget your pebble. It will keep it safe until you decide to revisit it. For now, allow the small relief of having moved it to be enough. There are moments in which the cove feels almost alive with soft labor. A gardener crab dragging a strand of seaweed into a neat bundle, an apprentice rinsing a bowl until it is free of grit, the keeper adjusting a lamp's wick so that the light is steady and kind. These ordinary tasks are the language of care in the reef. Let them reassure you that repair happens through attentive repetitions, that healing is often slow and attentive rather than sudden and dramatic. Resting is one of those repeated acts. It matters. Sense now the connection between the center of your chest and the base of your spine, a vertical thread that links the heart's small rhythms with the deeper hum beneath. Place a hand there if that comforts you, right over the sternum or over the lower belly, and feel the small rise and fall that accompanies each breath. The hum undergirds that motion like a distant tide. It keeps an even time that encourages the out-breath to extend kindly beyond the in-breath. With each lengthened exhale, image that you are unlocking one more tiny latch of tension, allowing the body to become progressively more spacious. The keeper sometimes performs a small ritual that is not a ceremony, but a practical kindness. Dipping a cloth into warm seawater and laying it briefly across a restless brow, or setting a tiny cushion of woven kelp where someone needs a little lift. Picture that warmth spread across your temples or the soft comfort beneath your neck. Let that image be a permission to release the small muscular grips you habitually keep in place. These are offerings of care that ask nothing in return, only that you accept them. If the mind offers a story, perhaps a replay of events, perhaps a plan, notice it with curiosity rather than battle. Imagine placing that narrative onto the shelf too, grouping similar pebbles together if that helps. A cluster of small stones for tomorrow's tasks, a single larger one for something unresolved. Cover each with a leaf, or leave a small space between them. The keeper's hands tend to these arrangements, moving only when necessary, always with respect. The presence of that orderly care is restful. It allows you to disentangle yourself from the energy of active thinking and return to the simplicity of breathing. There may be a tendency to feel that rest is something you must earn, as though it were a reward for labor. In this cove, the rule is different. Rest is part of tending. Just as the reef is kept by daily, unexciting action, so the practice of rest is itself an act of care. Permit yourself to be included in that practice. You are as deserving of gentle attention as any small shell or pebble on the shelf. Now allow your awareness to open softly to the extremities, the fingers and the toes, as though you are checking the fine edges of a quilt to make sure there are no loose threads. Wiggle a finger subtly within the stillness and feel that movement integrate with the hum. Let the sensation be present without insisting upon it. Then imagine each fingertip settling, the muscles unfurling like kelp leaves returning to stillness. Do the same with the toes, feeling the soles of the feet press into some warm, yielding surface. These small parts are part of the whole. When they surrender, the remainder follows more easily. As the body continues to arrange itself into repose, the earth's heartbeat remains a steady companion. Sometimes you may sense it more in the chest, sometimes more in the bones. Both are valid. There is a depth to this cadence that suggests an unhurried passing of time, a reminder that many processes, like tides and seasons, unfold according to a different measure than our urgent days. Let this knowledge be soothing rather than distancing. Feel the comfort of being part of a larger, patient rhythm. If you like, imagine the keeper now placing a bowl of dark, smooth stones near the lamp. Each stone is touched briefly and set aside, forming a quiet pattern that pleases their eye. The apprentices gather, arranging the stones in slow sequences, watching how the lamplight draws a faint line across each one. This simple act of ordering is calming. It is testimony that small arrangements create a sense of order without needing to change anything fundamental. You may borrow that sense of small ordering by allowing a single breath to be slightly more deliberate than the last, noticing how that tiny difference relaxes the body a little further. There will come a moment, perhaps already present, when the edges of awareness begin to soften. Thoughts grow thinner, sensations blur at the margin, and the hum becomes an even more distant landscape in which you can rest. If you are moving towards sleep, let this be a welcome development rather than a performance. If you are not yet ready to sleep, that is equally fine. You can remain in this state of quiet presence, attentive and restful. Before we offer one final gentle breath sequence, remember that you have choices. You can choose to remain here, listening to the heartbeat, allowing it to carry you deeper into rest. Or you can fold inward into silence, aligning your attention with the subtler hush beneath the hum. Both are allowed. There is no better option. There is only what feels right for you now. If you would like a concluding breath pattern to drift with, you might try this. Inhale slowly to the count of 4. Hold the breath for a soft count of 1, and then release on a slow, even count of 6. Repeat this cycle 3 times if that suits you, letting each exhale be a conscious offering of tension away from the body. If counting is not useful, simply allow the inhale to arrive small and the exhale to extend, trusting the body's own intelligence to regulate. These final breaths are an invitation, not an instruction. Begin, if you wish, with a gentle inhale. 4. Feeling the air arrive small and clean. Hold softly. 1. And then exhale long and steady. 6. Letting the breath carry with it any last thin threads of busyness. Inhale again. 4. Pause. 1. Exhale. 6. Feeling the shoulders soften, the jaw release, the belly fall. One more time. Inhale for 4, hold for 1, and exhale for 6. And as the breath leaves you, let it leave any remaining tightness in the leaving. If you prefer not to follow counts, simply allow one last breath to arrive naturally, and then lengthen the out-breath until it feels like a gentle settling, as though a small knot has unwound enough to be loose. Breathe with the earth's pulse, or let the pulse continue as a background hum while you fold your awareness inward. Both ways are restful. Both are welcome. As you settle after those breaths, place once more, if it helps, any persistent thought onto the reef shelf. Cover it with a leaf, or leave the pebble to sit uncovered. Whatever you choose is enough. Trust that the keeper and the apprentices will continue their small attentions in the background, attending to what must be tended so you can do the quiet work of being held. There is no need to mark this moment with fanfare. The soundscape of the cove, the soft lap of water, the faint rasp of kelp, the low, slow hum of the earth's heartbeat will remain beyond the edge of language. You may allow those sounds to carry you, either into deep sleep or into a folded silence where awareness rests like a closed book on a shelf. If you choose to continue listening, accept the hum as company. If you choose to fold inward into the hush, let the hum be a distant reassurance that you are cradled by a larger rhythm. I will leave you with that steady, patient presence now. The same slow heartbeat that has held the cove since long before you arrived, and which will keep its measured time whether you are awake or asleep. Let it be enough that the world carries on with such quiet constancy, and let yourself be part of that softness for as long as you need. If this eased you, consider subscribing for more quiet sessions and grounding soundscapes. Otherwise, rest well in whatever way you are called, and may the slow cadence of the earth's heartbeat keep you tenderly company.